Welcome back. Now, even more modern that the nullish Coles-King operator that we just talked about are the three new so-called logical operators that were introduced in ES 2021. So let's see how they work. In order to do that in efficient way, let's quickly start by creating two new restaurant objects. Okay, here we'll say constant rest 1 equals 2. Here name we'll set to Capri. Okay, and then num guests. Here I'm setting here to 20, and we'll just replicate this for the rest 2 as well, restaurant 2. And here name I'm going to change the name. Give something random name whichever you like. And also instead of a guest here, I'm going to change here to the owners. So owner, here I'm going to give some owner name, random name. Okay. That's the first thing we want to do now is to set the default number of guests for all the restaurant objects that do not have the property. So in this case, it's just the restaurant here. Okay. But let's pretend that we got them. We got these restaurants from some kind of API, and now we want to apply something to all of them. In this case, basically adding the number of guests property to the objects that do not have them. And let's start by using the tool that we already know about this. So this is the OR operator we are going to use here. Here rest one dot num guess equals to rest one dot num guess. Here the OR operator, I'm setting here the value to 10. So let me just show you the output. Here the rest one it should be, yeah. This works because of short circuiting. So in the OR operator, if the first value is truthly and this one here, and then the first value will immediately be returned and the second value will not be evaluated. So that's the one here, the 10. Okay. By doing this, here we are returning number of guests. If this doesn't exist, so it's not a false free, and otherwise the 10 is going to be written. Okay, let's duplicate this and create for the restaurant 2 as well. Simply just here change to 2 and here to 2, and also let's just code and console log them. Console.log rest 1. So let's go ahead and save it. See, now you can see the output here. So the second one here didn't have a number of guests, right? So this one, this didn't have here the number of guests. So the second one here didn't have the number of guests, and so num guest is the 10 here. And again, this is because of short circuiting. So this here returned undefined. So the second one here got returned, while here in this one the value was 20. So it is this 20 that immediately got returned. So nothing new up until this point. But now let me introduce you the very first logical operator, which is the OR assignment operator. So with that operator, we'll be able to write the same thing basically in more concise way. So let me just show you that. So here we'll write just one dot num guess, and here OR operator equals to 10. So similarly, we'll replicate for this run 2 as well. So let me just go ahead and turn this off. Now as we load, see here we are getting the same output. So this is easier way of writing than this. Okay. So here now we'll set this into the OR assignment operator. Okay, so this is everything here. It is the OR assignment operator here, what we did here. So basically, in the num guess, we'll just go ahead and we'll just remove here 20 and we'll set here to the 10. For suppose, let's say, let's go ahead and save it. As you can see here, our output here changed from 22 to 10. So can you guess what is happening based on the previous lecture? So here 0 is a falsy value and the OR assignment operator is working just fine. So this right here now is the falsely, therefore it will be assigned the value of 10. And basically this operator assigns a variable to variable if the variable is currently falsely. So again exactly what's happening here, because this variable is currently falsely and it will be assigned the value of 10. Great. That's actually we already encountered before in the previous lecture. What is exactly this operator does? So again the logical operator does is assign a value to a variable. So if that exact variable is falsely right now, however, unfortunately, we have a good way of solving this. Let me just comment this all out so that it doesn't work and we'll get a clear console. Okay, and here we actually do also have the logical nullish assignment operator. That sounds a bit complicated, but it is to change the OR for the nullish cancelling operator. So let's actually write that here. So we'll just copy this and then here we'll paste it above, and then here we'll say nullish assignment operator. Okay, here we'll write our code. So let's just write our code here for the nullish. Here we'll set the rest one dot num numbers, so not a num guess. So as you have attended previous lecture, you might know this how we are writing like this. See, as you can see the output, here we are getting as it was right here. Let's just remember that the nullish basically means the null or undefined, and right here in the restaurant too, the number of guests is undefined, right? Okay, and so therefore then the 10 will be assigned to the variable. So in a nutshell, the nullish assignment operator will assign a value to a variable, and if that's exactly variable is currently nullish, so again, in this is the case in the restaurant number 2. Okay, as you can probably guess, we do also have the logical and assignment operator. And to learn about that one, let's say we want to analyze the names of the restaurant owner. So when there currently is an owner like here in this object, and we want to basically replace the string here with the string anonymous. So we could just do that using the tool that we already know. So let me just show you that. So here I'm writing the code. Restaurant one dot num. So here we want owner, right? So here we are using a owner. So we are setting the owner into rest one dot owner, and here using the AND operator. And as I said, here we are using the anonymous. So let me just turn this here off and copy this, paste it here, and also here we'll write AND operator. Okay, as you can see here, we got here undefined. Well, again, it is because of short circuiting, and in particular case of AND operator, it short circuits when the first value is falsely, then immediately returns the falsely value. So in this case, that's not what's happening. So this is truly right now. So therefore, the second value then actually be evaluated and written. So and if we duplicate this, for example, let's say duplicate this and do here the restaurant 2, and here we'll do the restaurant 2, and when we save it, and then you see that it's now actually being set to undefined because, well, the restaurant one dot owner does not exist, so that property is not there, so this value is undefined. And since the end operator short circuits and when the first value is falsy, well, then the value that is immediately returned. So again, we already learned about that a little bit earlier in this section, so that's why I'm not going into deep into the detail. So what I will go into detail is that we can now replace once again this duplicate variable here. So basically by replacing it with the and assignment operator, for doing that I can write it, I can write like this. So let me just turn it off, and also here I can write a rest one dot owner, and here I'm setting this and operator equals to, and we'll copy this. So same way we'll just replicate for restaurant 2 as well. So this is one more easier way of writing the code, as you can see right now here. So here in this case, the first restaurant and the result is even better now, and that's what we had before, because with this code here we can actually add the owner set to undefined, which was not really what we wanted. Now it is simply not here, and so basically what the logic and assignment operator does is to assign a value to a variable if it is currently truly all right. So clearly this here was a falsely because it does not exist, and so then nothing happened, so the object stayed exactly the same. And then here this was indeed truly, and it was here this name given Chirosi here before, so it was replaced now with the other string. So again, if you ever needed to assign a value to a variable that is already defined, so that has a value that is currently truly, then you can use this AND operator. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.